Hello, and welcome to League of Loggers. This is episode 5. We are talking about week 4.
I can often count to the number 3. Oh wait, there are 3 of us. Damn, that was so easy. Welcome to our show.
This is how robots talk. Okay, can we start?
Team Liquid has 1 loss.
There you go.
Boom! Nailed it.
Show,
Alright.
show over.
We have 0 talent.
You did it though. You actually made it to piece.
I made it all the way down.
Ah, fuck me. Okay. Are we good for reals?
Yeah, no, we're going. So I think the first topic, let's actually talk about, I mentioned it, Team Liquid has 1 loss. That was easily the biggest thing of the week, right?
Yes, and they got steamrolled. It wasn't just like... It was just like... eh.
It was great, because just the day before,
Yeah.
Dash had asked Mark and High, how much of a gold lead would you have to have over Liquid at, what do you say?
10 or 20 minutes.
20 minutes, yeah. He said, at 20 minutes, how much of a gold lead do you need to have for Liquid not to come back? Because they had been down like 2k that day or something against, was it OpTic, I believe?
TSM?
No, Golden Guardians.
Oh, you mean on the first day?
Yeah, Golden Guardians had a lead, a small one, and then Team Liquid came back. And Mark said 10k, meaning no lead safe, and High's like 5. And sure enough, like, TSM has...
About 4K.
They had 5k prior to 20,
Yeah?
didn't they?
I thought they had about 4K.
Oh, okay.
Until
They-
closer to the end.
But yeah, they were close
But
to
it was
that
close.
5k number.
Yeah.
And they actually held on and did it.
Yeah.
It was surprising.
Yeah.
Chase, how do you feel about that game?
I'm glad that they were finally dethroned. They're not untouchable. I think other teams will finally start to realize that and maybe try to devise plans to exploit weaknesses. I don't know. TSM looked really good.
Yeah.
It wasn't that Liquid looked bad either. I mean, they did look bad in comparison, but it's not like they were just like they were just making a ton of really bad plays. It was just kind of like what they were doing didn't match up against TSM. Everything that they did, TSM had an answer for.
Yeah,
And
I feel like the only part of Liquid that did well was the bot lane. Like, Double Lift did fine in bot lane after giving up... They gave up early kill down there, and then Double Lift started going
Well,
off.
so in that game, Double Lift was on Sivir, and he didn't have a tank line to back him up. The casters were talking about that throughout the entire match.
They ran a York, and he's a split pusher anyway.
They first picked a Yorick. That was...
Yeah,
interesting to
so
me.
Yeah, they did.
in order for Sivir to be good, you have to have a line to stop all the damage to go to her. And then she can blow people up. But they didn't have that. They didn't have the tankiness required. And Double Lift had a pretty solid lead. He was like 3-0-2 or 3-0 something.
Yeah,
Like for a majority of the match. Like it's not like, you're right, the bottom lane was the only thing kind of keeping them afloat there. But since the other lanes didn't quite come online the way they needed to, they just kind of got stomped. You get stomped in every other lane, one lane isn't going to do anything to fix it. At least not usually.
Right. Well, I think mid lane wasn't necessarily a stomp, but Double Lift only got like so far ahead. I think a big thing, like you said, the only tank they had in like a team fight was Alistar. Because Lee Sin's not tanky, and he wants to get back into their team. He basically is trying to die in order to kick a priority target towards the team. I mean, and then you had Alistar, and who else did they have in the mid lane? Syndra. And like Syndra's not a tank.
Mm-mm.
So yeah, York's kind of tanky, but if he's not split pushing, he's not doing the right thing, generally speaking. And of course, he was facing against Broken Blade, who looked really good on the Jax. Like it was funny, we were chatting in Discord, and like I said, kind of early on, because Broken Blade had gotten a couple kills and Double Lift had a couple kills. I'm like, this is going to come down to who can carry harder, Broken Blade or Double Lift. And about 5 minutes later in the game, the casters were like, this is just becoming a matter of will Silver or Jax win this game? And I was like, I said that. I said 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, Broken Blade on that Jax was really disgusting as well. Like, I mean, Jax in general is disgusting, and in the hands of somebody that's really good with him, it's just like that's amplified. And apparently it was just the right comp for the Jax to play into.
Well, yeah, into a Yorick. It's like, oh, so you want to split push against me, and I'm better at a 1v1 fight as long as I kill off your ult, which Broken Blade was smart enough to do. Because I get annoyed at players in my games enough, let alone when I see a pro, like, York pops the ult, and they're all, like, attacking the York. I'm like, if you don't kill the fucking Maiden of the Mist, You're going to do a ton of damage to you, and York's going to heal a shit ton. I don't know what you think you're doing. Like, unless you can burst him, which you can't once he has tank items. Like, kill the Maiden, and then kill Yorick.
Yeah.
And that's what he did every time. He just, like, pounced on the Maiden, shredded it down in, like, the 3 hits, and then went on Yorick. And it's just like, oh, you have nothing left now, because your ult's down.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think TSM, they just played a really good game there. They exploited a little weakness that Liquid's been showing, and it just worked really well for them.
Yeah, it went quite well for them, and Team Liquid just... I think the comp had something to do with it for sure, but they finally showed some weakness. I mean, I don't know if Impact's Yorick will be Double Lift's Vladimir from last year, where it's like they only lose if he's on Vladimir.
And then to jump to day one a little bit here.
We'll get to Golden Guardians.
I was going to talk about Team Liquid's play against Golden Guardians. Like,
okay,
I wasn't going to sit and focus on Golden Guardians. Just
okay, I was going to say, because you get a whole block there to go.
Yeah. So. Well, they looked vulnerable at some parts during that match. They didn't. It wasn't as much of a stomp as I was expecting. Yeah. Like, I mean, when you got Team Liquid and then you've got a team like Golden Guardians, you expect Golden Guardians to, just quietly get stomped really hard. And that's not quite what happened. And so I think that a little bit of the weakness in their armor was showing, and then TSM super exploited it the next day.
Yeah, I feel like Team Liquid has shown a few games where they don't get off to a fast start, but then always come, just after 15 minutes. That turret playing leaves at 14. At 15 to 16, they tend to take down a couple turrets, and then they just take care of you from there. I think Golden Guardians, they were the very first team to take down all 3 of Team Liquid's outer turrets. Like, nobody had taken down all 3 in a match yet, up to that point.
Wow.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, in their 6 previous games, they had lost a total, I think, of 15 turrets or something like that. Like, that's I mean, usually they were losing 1 or 2 kind of thing. Or maybe it was including the Golden Guardians game. I don't recall for sure. But yeah, because that was part of that Jet stats. They brought it up. Which I love and miss Jet stats. So I was glad to see it return. Any other thoughts on Team Liquid finally losing? Do you think they're going to run out the rest of the season now, the split now, and get, just go 17-1? Or do we think this is kind of...
I'm not making any more predictions.
Not a slide, but, just going, hey, it's going to happen. A couple people are going to pull wins off of them.
Like I said earlier, I think that Golden Guardians started to show that Team Liquid is vulnerable, and TSM exploited... I don't know if they exploited the same thing. It was just kind of a good comp, and...
Yeah, Team Liquid looked like they could have lost 2 games, up until about 15, 20 minutes against Golden Guardians.
Yeah.
And then that wasn't even close after that point.
Yeah. But I think that other teams are going to experiment. They're going to try to get their comps to also exploit weaknesses. So
pay Impact to play more Yorick.
Yeah.
Probably not.
I don't think
fixing matches.
York's just not fun. Jax is not very fun either. But he's
not
he
fun
comes
to
at
go
you,
against.
and then you're just like,
it's just
I'm out.
I see a Jax. Guess who's dying? Not him.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on then from Team Liquid. We're going to go straight from the top to the bottom of the league. We saw Clutch and OpTic continue their slides. They are now tied for 9th, 10th. They're in last place together, both with only 2 wins. Clutch getting both of them in week 1. OpTic splitting week 1 and 2, which means Clutch is on a 6-game losing streak. Yeah. OpTic on a 5-game losing streak. And their last win? Over Clutch. OpTic's last win was over Clutch. They've beaten CLG and Clutch. Clutch has beaten Fox and TSM.
That was a while ago.
Yeah, and in week 1 that looked good. I mean, those are still looking like pretty decent wins.
Yeah.
So at this point, Clutch and OpTic, I mean, is it... What is wrong with the team specifically? What do you think is most wrong with them?
With Clutch or OpTic? Which one would you
Either one.
Well... So I already told you that I think Huni is just like...
And I've got something lined up for that. So.
I think Huni is just like completely fallen away from being even good. Whatever they're paying him right now is too much.
Yeah.
Like, it really sucks that Echo Fox had to deal with it last year. Like, he was 50-50 at best, and more recently, it's, he's got like a 25% win rate right now.
Yeah, I mean, he even pulled out his pocket pick Rumble on day one.
That's the pick he plays all the time.
Yeah, that's his pocket pick.
That's not something he pulls out. It's
but pulling out his pocket pick, what I mean by that is falling into his comfort. He took his comfort pick and failed miserably on it, in my opinion.
I was going to say I don't know if he failed miserably, but they didn't ban
good ult.
Scion. Okay, fair.
Like, and you'll see it come up in the replay here, where he TPs in, and it wasn't necessarily a bad TP. His ult was garbage, though. It was hot garbage. So he TPs in there near Dragon Pit, and what he should be doing, and God, I want this replay to get there, but he should be throwing his ult onto the lane, the space
I
where
remember
he's,
the Dragon Pit.
where he's TPing in. So it should go over the ward he's on, through the blast cone, because that's where the whole team is. And he throws it back by the blue buff.
Oh, yeah.
Where nobody is, where nobody's going to run.
To go that way, but they just all came into the
Well,
fight.
they were already standing on him, though.
Yeah.
If they go that way, fine, you force them out of the fight and you guys get Dragon. Instead, you just fucked yourself.
Yeah, I remember that. Now that you say it.
Maybe it already happened. Jesus Christ.
They didn't
it
ban
happened right
Scion.
away.
That was part of their downfall. Fucking ban Scion.
So, Scion...
On Darshan.
Scion went 2-4 this week?
Yeah.
Something like that?
It wasn't as good as the
and he was only banned once, I believe.
And that was against CLG in on day 2.
Yeah.
I have that
and I think, you're right. Against Darshan, that's a more important ban. I don't think the rest of the league is necessary anymore.
I think it's really mostly just Darshan.
Because they did nerf his early game between the Q and the W.
But he still got the health. I mean, he
right,
still got the health.
He just can't bully in lane and survive as well, so if you gank him early, you can set him behind. Yeah. And that's really what you have to do. But, so, you see Huni as being the issue for Clutch.
I'm not saying he's the only issue,
biggest,
but I think he is the biggest issue. I mean, he's
Do you
done
have other
nothing
issues
but...
you see on them?
Yeah.
Just everyone is just... Like, that whole team, they're just not playing like they want to win. Like, when you see all of the lanes play, you're like, they could win. It's very possible for them to win, but they're just not trying.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got to be trying at some level.
So who's the bright spot on the team? Or what, if it's just like team play or something? Is there a bright spot on that team?
I think DeMonte makes some pretty solid plays here and there, but overall, like, a couple solid plays from DeMonte isn't enough to carry the team.
Right.
So
you've given us the breakdown of Clutch. How do you feel about giving us the breakdown of OpTic here? What's their issue? Because they're down there with them.
I'm still on Clutch. I've got
go ahead
more
with
to
Clutch.
say. Sorry.
Yeah.
Their first game, it's Lyra who's carrying them. Lee Sin, he has some... Or he, she, Lee. It's both he. So never mind.
Yeah.
Sorry. He gets some good plays. He gets the first blood on bot. He kicks fucking Stixay into the
great
crowd
game
later
to
on.
start.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So he's got great plays on that first game. Hooney's Rumble is lackluster. Corky just doesn't hold up to Cassidy, who is absolutely fucking disgusting. I cannot wait to see more of that of Power Evil. But the second game for CG, Hooney goes Scion, which is so funny because it's like a flip-flop. And then Lyra goes Karthus, which again, we know my feelings on Karthus Jungle.
Didn't work for Rush.
And it didn't...
Well, it did once.
Yeah.
kind of.
Kinda. Like, he wasn't really the biggest member on that one.
Right.
But it still worked out. But so yeah, he's on Karthus, and I just don't care for it. And they don't do that well. So yeah, that's it for CG. I don't know. It's back and forth, because there's one game where Lyra will be dominating and Hooney sucks, and then the second game where Hooney still sucks and Lyra sucks. So you can't have two sucks. It just doesn't work.
And yet they do so often.
As for OpTic, I wrote down, and they even mentioned it in like their post game, I think, that they are playing much more aggressively. And I saw that in the very first game, that they were playing more aggressively and better, but it wasn't enough to hold up against TSM and C9. And that's really...
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest. Of any of the weeks somebody had this week, OpTic probably had the hardest one with TSM and Cloud9. Mm-hmm. Like, TSM has looked middling for most of the season, but they played well this week. Broken Blade in particular.
Yes, Broken Blade did very well.
I mean, he played the Urgot on day 1, and then he played the Jax, as we talked about on day 2, and he looked good. He looked well put together, and that's good for that team going forward.
I think they had a chance maybe against C9, because I feel like they had a good game. But Dokula did make, at first, as I mentioned it in the Discord, Dokula was like, he did a play, he's good, and then 2 plays later, he goes down in both of them, and it just sucks for him. So.
Alright. Well, so I think, in particular, actually, both of those top laners are struggling. So I decided to pull up some stats.
Yay!
So we're going to have some fun with this. Okay, they're both teams are 2-6 right now. Dokula, 1-5, because he didn't play the first 2 games of the season.
Yeah.
Alright, so let's have some fun here. Over the last 18 games of each of their careers, who do you think has a better record?
Dokula and
Huni.
Dokula and Huni.
We're going Clutch's top laner, who's been an issue, versus OpTic's top laner.
And what's the question?
Who has the better win rate over the last 18 games?
I'm gonna say Dokula.
I'm gonna say Dokula as well.
It is Dokula, 8-10, compared to Huni's 7-11. Now that 7-11, fun fact, is equal to CLG's record when they got 8th last split. So Huni is as good as last split's CLG. That's not a good thing. That's two whole places out of playoffs. And so the 8-10 is actually between CLG and OpTic, who had been 9-9 that same split.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Dokula, actually, it's funny, because his 18 almost goes all the way back to spring split, because he played 4 games fairly early on, or late on in spring split, and then week 2 of summer split he didn't play, and they tried Alorum, who played at the beginning of this season a little bit. Alright, so here we go. After looking at those, I was like, okay, but are they the issue, or are their teammates the issues? So we're going to have some fun. I have top, mid, and bot, your 3 carry lanes. I didn't get the stats for jungler support, because I didn't want to go way too deep in this. And for the bot lane, I got both Asta and Arrow's stats, because Asta has played 4 games, which all the, LCS stats, they go 3 or more, if you have to be in the record book or whatever, it's like, oh, what champion has the highest win rate, 3 or more games played, or whatever kind of thing. So I grabbed Asta, however, Alorum did not count, because he's only played the 2. So here we go, let's go with Huni first. Out of Huni, Damonte, and Piglet, who do you think has the best and the worst KDAs for their lanes? So, Huni compared to top laners, Damonte compared to mid laners, and Piglet compared to bot laners, marksmen.
I want to say Damonte, but...
Best or worst?
I think best.
Okay.
But I imagine it's going to be Piglet. I want it to be Damonte, but I think it's going to be Piglet.
Okay, and who do you think is going to be the worst out of those 3?
I'm very much going to say Huni.
Okay, and what are your guesses on this?
Damonte, Huni, same thing.
Damonte is best. Well, he went Piglet.
I would
Piglet.
Piglet.
So
I
Damonte.
wanted to say Damonte, but it's always a trick question, so it's going to
out
be
of
Piglet.
10 top laners, Huni is 9th. So the second worst. Damonte, out of 10 mid laners, 7th.
Oh.
Piglet, out of 11 bot laners, because there's the 2 from OpTic, 11th.
God damn it.
So
I'm so wrong.
So Huni, not the worst of the 3, but damn close. Yeah. And actually, if you do count Alorum, he's still 9th, because Alorum's really high, because his 2 games he did pretty well.
Yeah.
Alright,
That sucks.
out of kill participation, who do you think is the best and the worst of those 3? Huni, Damonte, and Piglet.
Damonte makes the most sense.
Best.
Best, yeah.
And who's the worst?
I'm still gonna.
You sticking on the Huni
I'm
train.
saying Huni. Huni is
Okay.
fucking off in Huni land. I've already said this.
Okay.
I say best Damonte, worst Piglet.
They all got second, actually.
Really?
All 3 of them are second in their role for kill participation. That's one
a trick
surprised me.
question.
It is. Yeah, no, that's a Jat stat right there. And I thought that one was interesting, because I expected Huni's to be fairly low. Thinking that he gets, solo killed and he's not able to be around. But it just kind of points to, as a team, granted, some of them have an actual higher stat than the other, but as a team, they are participating a good amount in all of their kills, and it speaks to the fact that they're probably getting mostly team fight kills, and no one's getting solo or lane kills as much as anything else, but, you know, like, a high KP is good. That means everybody's getting involved. You're getting more gold onto the team because more assists are free gold. So, fun thing with the KDA, if we go by kill, death, assist, Huni is 10th, 10th, 7th.
Wow.
So, least kills, most deaths, like, towards the bottom in assists. Demonte, 7th most kills, so towards the bottom. Deaths right in the middle at 5, assists towards the bottom at 9. Piglet, 11th, 11th, 6th, so bottom towards the middle as well. Alright, so let's jump over, well, and I took down actually a CS per minute, gold per minute too, and Demonte comes in at 4th in mid lane in CS per minute, 6th in gold. Huni 7 and 7, and Piglet is 6 and 9. So top and bottom standout is like regions where they're struggling overall, but their like team participation in fighting seems to be the one thing that they have going. But if you can't win any of your lanes and you're getting like 4 kills a game and everybody gets 3, like I guess that doesn't matter. So let's jump over to OpTic Gaming now.
Yay!
So KDA, out of Dokla, Crown, Arrow, and Asta, best and worst KDAs.
Hold on.
I'm gonna say Dokla.
For best?
No.
Worst?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm gonna say Asta for best.
Who's the other one? Asta and Arrow?
Yeah, Asta, Arrow, Crown, Dokla.
Asta best, Dokla worst is what I
Okay,
think.
you guys are right. Asta best. How high do you think he is out of 11 bot laners? He only played 4 games.
Yeah.
Then I bet it's gonna be mildly inflated at that point. Then, I'm gonna say fourth.
I was going to say like fourth, something like that too. Middle road, I'd say fifth.
Ninth.
Ninth?
goddamn.
He's best out of them at 9th.
Yeah.
Arrow 10th, 11th was Piglet.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in the mid lane, Crown was 10th. He was last in mid.
I can see that.
And Dokla was 10th in top, last top laner. The only person who was worse than Huni in the top lane, KDA wise, is Dokla.
Yeah.
And like if you break it down by kill, death, assist, Dokla is 8, 9, 10, so just as bad as Huni basically. Crown, this one shocked me.
It is.
Least kills, second most deaths,
Yeah.
and then 7 in assists, making him the worst mid laner overall in KDA.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was
see it.
quite
from
surprised.
from the games that I have watched with Crown, it has not been impressive.
Yeah, I didn't think
And
it had been
it
that
just-
bad though.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
But yeah.
we're
And
world
then-
champion, right?
Yeah, former world champion. And then Arrow was, and remember, there's 11, 6, 11, 10 overall,
Wow.
and Asta was 7, 9, 10, 9 overall. So, like, as much as Asta seemed like he was doing a lot better, statistically only a little bit, and
But
it's
if
also
you'd been
2
able to
fewer
play
games,
the
too.
games,
Yeah, it's also 2 fewer games.
it's
It's
4 fewer games now, right?
Nope, 2.
2?
No, I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
4.
they're even. They're
Yeah,
even.
4 and 4.
Yeah, so yeah, they have the exact same number of games, and his are really close. And he got to play CLG, FlyQuest, Clutch, Fox, and Arrow has played Golden Guardians, Team Liquid, TSM, Cloud9. So that makes you
Arrow
think,
got the harder one. in
yeah,
my
he
opinion.
might even
Yeah.
be the better one.
I don't know. I think Asta and Gate had a lot of.
Oh, and then if we go into kill participation, that was the one I asked you guys on last time. Who do you think's best, worst from those 4 again?
Say Crown best, Asta worst.
Crown worst. No, Dokla worst.
Kill participation is compared to their own lane, you know, to be fair. Because otherwise it's like, well, yeah, top laner's going to be separated more often, and sports will be everywhere.
Dokla worst, Asta best.
Crown best
Aww.
at 8th of 10. Dokla at 10 of 10. Arrow at 10 of 11. Asta at 11 of 11.
Oh, really?
So
Man,
I'm gonna
woo!
say Asta is the worst, considering
Yeah.
he's 1 place lower, even though
Yeah.
his is the only one that has 1 lower. Yeah,
Ugh.
everyone on that team, like their 2 bot laners and their top laner, are the worst in the whole league in their lanes for kill participation.
This sucks. I feel so bad for OpTic, but at the same time, I don't really have any dogs in their fight. Like Crown was just a name to me until he busted out Ari, and then I was like Team Crown all the way.
He had your heart
and
until
then
he broke
fucking
it.
just stabbed me in the heart,
Yeah.
grilled it,
And-
fucking ate it.
And like they're bad in the CS and gold per minute stats too. Dokla being last in all of those, or in both of those, Crown being 9th and last in that, and then Arrow being double last in those, with Asta being 3rd and 6th in them. So he was farming creeps well and doing okay in gold, despite having not a great KDA. Like, but I think it just stood out to me so much. Like, at least with Huni, it was last in kills, last in deaths, 7th in assists, 9th in KDA, so almost last. And then 7th, and 2nd in CS and gold per minute, and then kill participation 2nd. That's a good one. Dokla was 8th in kills, 9th in deaths, 10th in everything else I listed. Assists, KDA, gold per minute, CS per minute, and kill participation.
Who's their other top laner?
Aloran.
They should bring him back.
Maybe, yeah.
They
like,
might. Shit. After this display.
Well, okay, so I mean, I've said it multiple times. I said it last week. Like, I just think that like the visa issues that they had on that team.
yeah.
Like, I think it just fucked them so hard. I think at this point they're probably. It's going to be really hard to recover at this point.
Oh, either of them making playoffs is a way outside shot at this point. So, but I guess part of the reason I want to play that stats game is because it begs the question: is it these top laners or certain lanes who are bringing the rest of the team down, or is it a bad team as a whole who just makes everyone's stats terrible because your team's so bad? Because Chase, you have a thought. Like, what's your gut reflex on that? Do you think it's more likely that it's a bad player or two make the team lose, or a bad team makes even good players' stats bad?
Yes. I don't know.
Because I lean towards the former. Because we saw in Golden Guardians last split where Deftly still had the highest KDA in the league. He just didn't die. Despite how terrible that team was, he was still pulling his weight. Like, they lost despite it, but his stats weren't bad. Like, somebody like Contract stats were actually quite bad, but definitely did fine. And so it makes me think that, and we're seeing it now, Golden Guardians, they went ahead and got a 3rd win. Yeah. And what we saw them make a few changes to their roster. You got Froggen in mid now, and then top lane, who do we bring in top lane? Haunts are in top lane, and they seem somewhat better.
And Contracts
Contracts has been around.
Did you see the play where Contracts fucking jack over the walls and smite Sivir's spell shield before he...
Yes.
That was intense. I didn't read that at all until they told me about it. When and I was like, the fuck?
But no, like, seeing that with Golden Guardians
really
last split makes me think it is just like Huni and Piglet and Dokla and their bot lane. And honestly, I think the bot lane issue isn't necessarily AD carry. I think their supports are awful. Or
Big and Gate?
I think the support they're currently playing is awful, I should say.
Well,
I don't think
supposed to be pretty good, but they didn't.
Big is good. I just don't think not good at. I mean, obviously he's way better than anybody in this fucking room is, but
we can't talk.
Yeah,
I'm trash.
I just don't think he's LCS level anymore. Nice.
Dope.
But yeah, that's my personal opinion on it. I don't think Huni or Piglet are good, and I don't think Demonte can carry them. Like, because he had, like I said, he had one or two, like, okay stats in there. His CS per minute's good, his gold per minute's alright, his deaths is low, his KDA's kind of, like, middle of the road to lower. Like, all that screams, everyone else around me sucks.
Yeah, well, which is why I said Demonte. Like, I wanted to say Demonte was probably the better, but then I went with Piglet just because, you like to...
I think Demonte's the best player on that team.
He's got to be, yeah.
I think Lyra is, like, either really good or really bad. Lyra does really good things and then really bad things.
Who is Piglet playing with the bot lane again? Vulcan, yeah. And
I'm getting so much better at this.
Yeah, like all the people who are new or have moved like teams 3 times are who I struggle with.
That might be why I'm better at it, because I don't have to deal with any of like where
it's
they
all
were before.
new
It's all new to me, so I can just remember what they're on and I'm done.
Yeah, so I mean, I think I don't know. I think these teams have very obvious weaknesses, and they tend to be in top and bot lane.
Well,
because I don't think Crown's necessarily bad. I think everyone around him
really, because I have not seen Crown be really good.
I don't think he's playing well. Don't get me wrong. Okay. I think mid lane and NA is better than you would expect it to be. Because, I mean, if we look at it, like, Pobelter's doing pretty well. Jensen's doing well. Niski's coming and is doing well. Bjergsen, of course, is doing well. DeMonte looks good despite his team. Power of Evil seems to kind of have a little bit of mojo back. Like, that's 6 right there already. And, like, Froggen seems okay. Some he's had good, some he's had bad. Like, you start getting to these, 4 players, it's like, okay, who are these guys necessarily? Like, those are all good players. Granted, they're not former world champions like Crown is, but when you look at who's been around Crown, like, if your top lane's feeding, and your bot lane's feeding,
yeah.
Like, unless Meteos is just camping mid all day, and actually, I would like to say, with OpTic, I don't think Meteos is the problem. His stats have actually been pretty good. He's looked pretty good. Specifically, you pointed out the play where he was Zach slingshotted from the jungle, and... Or, no, it was Golden Guardian. Contracts did it, yeah. Sorry.
It's okay.
But, like, no, Meteos is, like, he's been playing pretty well, too, I thought.
I was gonna say, I don't have any issues with Meteos. I don't have any, like, notes on him specifically that say
I love somebody on Reddit said... God damn it, balls and wingers. Somebody on Reddit said, like, they're like, oh, yeah, and you have, Dardoch on the bench or whatever. They're like, yeah, but, like, Meteos is playing really well. I think they should keep him in. And somebody responded, and I love it. They're like, they should ask Dardoch, do you play top lane?
Yes, I agree with this. I don't know why I haven't thought about that, but that's smart. They just throw Dardoch in there for, like, 1 game, see what happens, and if they do better, just keep it like that.
Well, like, play him up there for a week. And I understand it takes, like, time to, like, get him adjusted. And he used to play support, it looks like. Or no, that's sub-jungle. He played top way back in, like, 2015, so it's been forever. But I think mechanically, he's just such a better player than Dokla or Aloram are, that it's just like, okay, play Rengar top. I don't give a fuck.
That would be amusing, yeah.
I mean, it's been done. Like, last year, a couple people played Rengar top.
They got all them bushes
Actually,
up there.
he might... I think it might have been DeMonte... Or, Dardoch one game. All these D names. I almost said Dokla a second. I think they did, like, a swap, and he played top lane, and, you know, the top laner played something weird in the jungle.
Didn't Hoodie do that, too? Didn't he play AD carry or whatever?
Oh, no, that's what. It was when Hooney was moving around, yeah. And so then we ended up with DeMonte top Rengar.
Ah, that's right, yeah.
But yeah, like... I said DeMonte again. God, Dardoch. Like, I don't know. I think have Dardoch play top, like, for a week. Fuck it. Because I don't think Dokla is good. I just don't.
It's not like you have a good record you have to keep here. Like, you're already, like... You have to do something different.
Yeah, like, I mean, is he going to do worse than 10th in KDA, 10th in kill participation, 10th in CS per minute, 10th in goal per minute? I doubt it.
Yeah.
Like, give him 4 games, and I bet you Dokla is still bottom of the fucking table. Like, come on. Shit.
Let's talk about other things now.
Yeah, I'm done complaining about that.
Unhappy stuff.
So, okay, let's move on from 2 teams who have been disappointing us recently to a team that is doing quite well, FlyQuest. They have sole possession of 3rd place at this point. Yep. At their 5-3 record, 3 losses. Behind Cloud9 at 6-2, Team Liquid at 7-1. Like, they're looking pretty damn good.
Yeah, Turtle's finally looking good again. Like, I don't know that FlyQuest has been, like, super great in, like, the last year, but they're looking much better this year than they did last.
Yeah.
And their roster was largely unchanged, right?
Brought in Pobelter in the mid, and top is now...
Viper.
Yeah, Viper.
Okay. So they didn't change much, but... Like,
it changed what they needed.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I'm pleasantly surprised with how FlyQuest is doing. Like, Turtle deserves to be on a team that can win, and it finally looks like he's got a team around him that's coherent enough to, like, help him.
Yeah, and it seems like it's a good fit for Pobelter, too, because Pobelter's been on a lot of teams where they have really great highs, and then, like, things fall apart throughout the season. And they're seeming consistent and solid right now. I'm like, Santorin and Pobelter seem to play really well together, and it allows Wild Turtle to do Wild Turtle thing. Like, he even did a full Wild Turtle play this week, where he
goes deep.
He was about to get hit by the Ezreal ult, and instead he ults past, he's on Kaisa, he ults all the way to the back, shoots a couple times, they immediately exhaust him, so he flashes the fuck out of there. But, like, he sees the Ezreal ult and goes, nah, I'm just going full ham. And, like, fuck it. I mean, when he ults to the back...
He didn't kill anybody, but he didn't
No, he flashed the fuck out, luckily. Had they not exhausted him, I think he would have killed Ezreal
Maybe.
really fast.
I think if he had stayed in for like a second longer without the exhaust.
Yeah, but like
Chunked him down.
the shields at that point were ridiculous. The commentators were talking
Yep.
about it because I think he had
1,000.
Did he have Bloodthirster on, or maybe the Overheal or whatever? But he had like 500 shield from just himself or more, and then like there was the Thresh, and so whenever he was on the Lantern, he had like a full 1,000, and then when he ults, like it was like 1,500.
wow.
So when he ulted in, he had like a 1,500 shield on top of his like 2k marksman health. It was gross, and that's why he was able to like get exhausted and flash and get away because normal marksman health, you're still dead.
Yeah, no, Kai'Sa's got all that mobility that makes it a lot easier, so
Yeah.
trying to chase down a Kai'Sa is a pain in the ass, so...
Yeah, no, I think, though, that team's looking really good. I expect them to make semifinals. I'm going that far with it. I think they're a semifinal team. I think they're a
really
top
good
4
team.
in the league,
I've been saying it for like the last couple weeks now. Even though last week, I think they went 0-2 last week, but like the first week they went 2-0. Second week they went 1-1, then 0-2.
Well, I mean, they played Team Liquid, which is usually a guaranteed loss, and then Fox kind of like actually looked coherent last week, so...
It was on Sunday. Rush doesn't lose on Sunday when he lost on Saturday. And did it fucking again this week. God damn it.
That's what
I almost picked Fox on Sunday because I was like, no, Fox is playing 100 Thieves. 100 Thieves is looking coherent, and then 100 Thieves shit the bed.
I'm pretty sure I picked Fox, right?
You did.
Yeah, I was just like, fuck you, 100 Thieves.
You picked Fox and
Golden
Golden Guardians on Sunday and reaped the rewards of that one.
My pick for Fox specifically for this coming up week is now going to be with that in mind, that they don't lose on the Sunday.
Yeah.
Or if they win on Saturday, they may lose on
don't ever
Sunday.
base your picks based on what happened last week.
If they don't
You're gonna
go
get
0-2.
fucked. That always happens to me.
No, because after week 2, I said I wasn't picking Clutch again until they win, and that has netted me 4 correct predictions so far.
That's true.
Now, granted, I would have picked Team Liquid against them anyway. Or no, that was actually the ones they lost there.
CLG and Fly.
I would have picked Cloud9 against them no matter what. But 100 Thieves, CLG, Fly, those would be questionable. But I was like, no, I'm not allowed to pick them. In fact, when I first said that, you guys were like, oh, you're going to pick 100 Thieves? Ooh, that's rough. And then fucking that's when it started.
I think Fly's doing very well. They came back from being down at the 100 Thieves match, because I'm pretty sure 100 Thieves was... Santorin, I have it written down, gave Onda a rough... Yeah, Santorin gave Onda a rough start in the jungle, but they had Someday with 2-0, Bang had a start with the first turret, but then Fly came back and they picked up 2 kills in Barons. And it's kind of back and forth, but Fly just completely dominates him in the end.
Yeah.
They really do. And Viper's Riven is pretty much what kind of sealed the deal in both games almost.
Oh, yeah, I know. We'll get into that later, too, when you want to talk about that.
Read the top.
Can O Bliss satisfy ya? What?
Cano Bliss.
Oh,
They
gotcha.
named a beer after like the little slogan.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah. But yeah, no, I think this team just looks solid. It's probably one of the best team play teams.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like it's, mid-game like Liquid where all of a sudden they play as a team. Cloud9 has shades of that too. FlyQuest seem to be coherent the entire game. Now, they don't necessarily have the same firepower in all of their lanes as these other teams do, but that coherent team play is just bringing them to the top right now.
Yeah, if everyone's on the same page, you're more likely to win than everyone being on a different page, but like all playing their own game.
Yeah.
So, no, yeah, their teamwork is looking really good. I'm pleasantly surprised with how FlyQuest is doing. I like everything that's happening right now.
Yeah, and so moving on from FlyQuest, let's go to another team. Not as good of results, but probably still more surprising. Golden Guardians picking up their 3rd win now. Went 2-0 last week, went 1-1 this week, which was a fine result being that they faced Team Liquid on day 1 and then CLG on day 2. Chase, talk about you boys.
Golden Guardians do well. Let's move on. So Golden Guardians, just everything about them, they're just looking like a better, well put together team. Like, having a 0-4 record to start off is really rough for anyone.
It was scary.
Yeah,
What did we say this is? One team ever has made playoffs after starting 0-4. Now, they're not, in playoff right now, but they're not out of it being at 3 wins.
Well, considering they're playing Clutch next week, I feel pretty confident picking Golden Guardians over Clutch.
But not
And if they beat Clutch,
Fox doesn't lose on Sunday, so that's
if they beat Clutch, that's the halfway point of the season. That would put them on pace for 8 wins rather than 6.
I'm gonna buy a jersey this year. It is happening. It just
What if they lose everything from here on out? Which I don't think will happen, but what if they did?
They already got a 2-0 weekend. I said if they got a 2-0 weekend, I was buying a jersey.
Oh, you did say that, didn't you?
Yeah.
Well, you saw the link I sent you, right? I sent it in our Discord.
Mm-hmm.
There's now the LCS
Oh, yeah,
store,
I saw that already.
so you can get customized jersey, man. You
Yep.
can get one that says Viking Redbeard on it,
My-
or just 2-0. I told you.
No, so Golden Guardians, they're looking good. Like the commentators were talking about how like Golden Guardians is like everyone on their team is like a little bit washed up and they've got like something to prove and they're finally playing like they deserve to be in the LCS still.
Yeah.
Like I know Froggen took a hiatus for was it just one whole year or was it 2?
Yeah, it was just a season, I believe.
Okay. So like Froggen's back, like Hanser, like they were saying that Hanser's never been better than he was like prime TSM.
Right.
And
I don't think he's still there, but
he might not be, but I think he's looking a lot better. He looked a lot better last week and this week than he did the first 2 weeks. So
yeah, and I think a lot of that has to do with the champions he's playing, because he played Urgot both games this week. Like, I harped on it. I'll continue saying it as long as he does well, and like as long as what happens fits what I've been saying, I'll keep bringing it up.
no.
Like, you know, I'll admit I'm wrong and be like, oh, like, he's expanded his roster or whatever, like, if he goes elsewhere with it. But so far this season, like, he played Urgot twice this week and looked good both times. Like, even in their loss, he looked good. Last week, I believe he played Sion one game, and let's see, he played Sion Sion twice. So in their last 4 games, he's played Sion, Urgot.
Yeah.
And those are the games they've looked the best by far. You know, none of that, like, week 1, oh, I'm going to play Ryze, I'm going to play Victor, I'm going to play, like, fuck off with that, play something tanky.
I mean, to be fair, like, the meta's always a little bit goofy, like, the first week or 2 of every split. Like, we saw, like, the no CS top lane, like, which has been patched out. Yeah, that was just last week. But that immediately got patched out, like, on Monday night last week.
Yeah, lame as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't feel
You wanted to try it out?
Well, I probably
I did
wouldn't
too.
because I'm lazy as shit. I just don't think it was necessary. And then they put basically a handicap on the supports for that item because you have to have your ADC or some
like
other person.
150 units, yeah.
Well, to be fair,
That
they did say this is an elegant, quick Band-Aid fix. We will have something better.
Yeah.
But they need to do a hot fix in order to
I don't even
not
need
have
that
it abused going
because
forward.
I think someone found a unique way to play the game with the items and the way that the runes and everything work. And Riot got mad about that. But that is exactly what I want to see in League.
So I like unique stuff, and I totally agree. But in this scenario, I guess I agree with Riot, because what they did say, it's true, that it completely negates an entire portion of what the game should be. An entire portion of the game, unless you're support, is you should have to be able to last hit to get gold.
Yeah. And
that just said, I'm never, ever, ever going to last hit, so I don't have to play the same game you're playing for the first 15 minutes.
And to counteract, you've learned the game that you need to get CS in your solo lane. And now you have to play an entirely new game. And they probably don't have as much practice doing that. So that's got to be extremely hard to do. It didn't even fucking work, first off.
Did you just say it's hard to do, whereas the game is not last hitting?
Yeah, because...
it's not hard to not hit the minions.
Yes,
just don't
it is. It is ingrained into their blood that you have to fucking last hit that minion. And to be up there, like, ignoring them, but also poking the enemy champion, but backing off of your
I do that all the time unintentionally.
He had the bomb, right? Yeah, it's like, I'm just bad, so it happens. But he had the bomb, so he had to make sure his bombs not explode to kill the minions.
To not kill them. What you actually do very intentionally is you want to get the early bombs on because you don't have enough damage to wave clear, so you weaken the wave, you don't kill it, and then your wave pushes it faster. So it's actually really easy on Zillion.
I wouldn't know. I haven't played Zillion.
I looked into it more like after it happened because I'm like, okay, what are the exact logistics of it? Because I thought the same thing. I'm like, oh man, it'd be hard to not kill him, and it's like, no, actually, you use your bombs to soften the wave, and you use your auto attack to poke, not the bombs.
But still,
and it's just like, oh, well,
it requires a little bit of a different discipline. And again, I have to repeat this: it didn't fucking work. at all.
Well,
So
that
why
game
even
it didn't
bother?
work. It was working in like high level solo queue and stuff.
But
still.
then we might have been able
Also,
to see
who
it
tried
work.
it?
Hooney.
Yeah. Just because it didn't work doesn't mean it's not actually really.
Fair.
I think Wright said, if Licorice did this, it would have been really, really insane.
I mean, it would have been fun to see it. It would have been fun to see it work in the pro play before they nerfed it.
Yeah.
Before they were like, let's
Yeah,
ban
true.
hammer it.
I would have loved to see Licorice Lysandra do that. Like, after he, like, was the person who brought Aftershock Lysandra to
Yeah.
prominence at Worlds. To be like, hey, I'm gonna do this no CS zillion bullshit up top. And he probably would have destroyed the lane. And everybody would have been like, that's the most fucked up shit I've ever seen. Ban it now.
Yeah. Rito's been really bad at, like, just nerfing, like, the more unique styles of play. Like, they nerfed the funnel comp. Now they're nerfing this.
They're nerfing anything that negates the general sense of how the game should be played.
Yeah.
Yeah, but who's to tell us?
They're the developer.
The
I knew where you were going with that right away because I saw the smile. You're like, I
It
know
was
this is
within
gonna
the
be shut down.
constructs of the game. If they wanted to change it, they should have put in a full change when they could, not just
They can
hotfix
put it in whenever they want.
in like a patch, like 9.4, change it, but not just like we're gonna hotfix this.
Well, so
nerf support.
They would have
at the
put
same
one.
time.
So the reason why it was a hot fix is because pros were going to 9.3, which was already out. Like, that's the thing. The pro game lags behind. They didn't want to have it in pro play. If pros were on the same patch constantly, they would have just done it into, 9.4 if it was coming out the next week. It's just the fact that, hey, that would sit on pro play for a full week and a half. It's not what they want.
Yeah.
It's a timing thing. Because, they've let shit ride before, too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when things have been broken, and people bitch that they let it ride. They're like, so...
Someone's always
So
gonna
now,
bitch
yeah,
one
now
way
they
or
have to
another.
make
This
this
is the
call.
world of the internet. Everyone bitches no matter
Yeah,
what happens. Like,
basically.
something's broken, people bitch. You fix it, people bitch. Everything's working how it's supposed to, people
People
bitch.
bitch.
Yeah.
So it's just like, nobody wins here.
All the
Yeah,
former pro
it's true.
players who aren't good enough to hack it now bitch that the game was better back in Season 3 and 4, when it just wasn't. Like, you look back to that shit, you're like, oh wow, a lot of this shit was terrible. But, somebody like, I Will Dominate, it's like, game was so much better back then. It's like, no, people were just not as good as you back then, and you wish you still made money playing this professionally. I mean, you do, streaming, but,
Yeah.
you wish you were an LCS player making the big bucks.
Had I even gotten around to trying it, I probably would have just been pissed off that I didn't do it well anyway. So it doesn't really matter.
I did
but-
want to try, though. I was
Yeah.
going to try it that night, and then I saw the hotfix was coming. I'm like, I don't want to, queue in and then realize the hotfix came in already. So I was like, fuck it, and I just did other stuff.
So it doesn't matter. I would have liked to see it be more effective than just Hooney being up 100 gold for most of the time and then falling behind
Falling
even
way
after
behind.
the item was finished. It didn't do anything for that game. Anyways, moving on to this week still.
Yeah,
Whatever we're talking about.
Well, okay, so we had been talking about Golden Guardians, but I think we got out what we wanted to say about them, really, yeah?
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
so day one, they looked really good
Well,
again.
do you have more to say than we already said? Because rather than just recapping what we already said, I have a segue. That's why I said, I think we talked about what we wanted to say. Yeah?
Away.
Okay.
You like
so,
that?
So we were talking about unique play styles. Let's talk about picks.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna let you go ahead, kick off the standout
Look at this,
picks.
look at this. Look at my fucking notes. I'm on
Yeah.
picks.
So-
There were so many new champions this weekend for the first time in this spring split that we hadn't seen before. I think Anivio was one of them. I'm not sure if Aurelion Sol was played before, but maybe only once.
Not this split. No.
Yeah.
And who he will be the only person you ever see play it.
In Riven, obviously, I'm Viper.
Twice.
Power Evil's Cassidon. Disgusting.
He got so
Absolutely
fed. That pit fight, he got so much gold,
Yeah.
and the dragon pit fight, and then,
And
it
then
was
you
just
just kept
like,
pushing, 3 hits on that turret, maybe 4.
oh
maybe
yeah, that was so
ridiculous.
gross. He was 4 or 5 hitting turrets.
Yeah.
It was-
Jinx was used, and they said that she hadn't been used since spring 2018, I believe.
Yep. Yeah,
Which is
a
kinda
full
crazy.
season ago.
Malphite was new.
I was happy to see Jinx. I always like her.
I really like Malphite. He's
yes.
he's my top laner of choice.
He's probably the top laner I've played the most.
I am not quite Mastery 7, but I'm Mastery 6 on him.
I think I'm only like 5 or 6 because I don't have the. I don't spend my blue essence to do the mastery. I wait until I get a
Yeah, the
shard and then
shards.
I
I
don't
do
know,
it.
when I've got like 28,000.
But I don't have the Earthwick skin
Yeah.
yet, so I need to save up for the next BE star.
I'm already back to like 14k.
I'm at
blue
like
essence.
20k,
I have about
but I don't
28K,
play
I
as
think.
much.
Like I got my 150k for Earthwick. I got like back to like 120
God, yeah.
during the last blue essence store. I just like spent it all on like chromas and
Yeah.
icons and shit. But
like
sorry,
2 champion
diverged.
shards for everyone.
So we saw the Kassadin. Anything after the Kassadin?
Corky.
Well, the Malphite was because I have him.
Oh right, we saw Corky come back
Corky was
mid
on that.
for
have
Clutch.
we seen
'cause
Jarvan? Jarvan's not been.
we saw him
times.
like once or twice in the previous 3 weeks, but we
Okay.
saw him a bunch this week. We saw him
Yeah.
2 or 3 times this week, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. At least twice I see him. So 3. Yeah, I see him at least 3 times here. So like yeah, he's come back into prominence.
Did we
which
talk
is,
about Yorick? Like, I mean, I know we mentioned him earlier. But
not in this yet. The Jarvan though, I think that's been a direct result of the small nerfs to Camille. Because
we haven't seen
so
her as
she
much.
can't proc her stun, her wall jump thing on jungle creeps anymore, which is the most hurtful against Scuttle Crab because you can't break its armor then. Jarvan offers a lot of what Camille does, where he can go in on a target from a long distance away with CC and lock them down. Granted, they can't leave her thing, whereas they can flash or dash out of his. But he offers all of that, and he can still do the jungle creep. He still has a lot of damage. He's kind of tanky-ish. Yeah, him and Camille offer a lot of the same spot, which is also the reason we never see Vi, because Vi is a less good version of Jarvan and Camille, basically.
Oh, I love Vi.
When it comes to jungling.
I liked playing as her.
She's
but,
so fun.
I don't know. Like, I've played her enough to realize why she's not good.
Yeah, it's because those two are better at what she does.
Yeah.
I like her ult. It's very useful when I play my champ because I'm.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, it's just a point and click thing. And
I know.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah, the fact that there's
like,
no...
you are
don't
now
need
going
skill.
in the air now.
Yeah, you just need a Q close enough to hit R, and then it's all... Yeah, no,
That's
good.
pretty much it, I guess. Zavin's APC is Cassie was done well. The damage on that. And
Yeah.
Crown busting out Ari with one of the last
And
few
then
ones.
the Yorick top lane, which was less than good.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think it's just not a pick that fits Impact.
Yeah.
Because it's a split-pushing gang carry champion, and that's not the way Impact plays. Impact's so good at team fights. I mean, we saw it on day 1, where Golden Earns was ahead, and he comes in... It took him forever to walk there, but he comes in with a Scion ult from mid, up towards that red buff there, and smashes into the whole team and just goes, I got him, and like he's just CCing the shit out of everybody. That's what Impact is. Like, Impact is great about making a team fight go so hard in your favor, or when it shouldn't go in your favor, go slightly in your favor. Like, he just affects team fights. And so if he's off on his own on York the whole time, you're not getting...
They, like, almost insta-lock that, too.
He was first pick. Like that was something they
that.
prepared, apparently.
Yeah.
And
It
I mean,
wasn't
I guess
smart.
when you're undefeated, you're able to try other things, and I'm sure that's what it was. It was like, hey, let's try this out, and it didn't work.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's going to take quite a bit before Team Liquid even, is worried about falling out of the first place slot. I know that they are only 1 win ahead of Cloud9, yes, and only 2 wins ahead of FlyQuest, but, when you look at, what Team Liquid has to go up against over the next, 5 weeks, not really concerned about it. Unless Liquid decides to, just, shit themselves from here on out, it's pretty unlikely that...
Over the next 5 weeks, so the rest of the league...
That was... Yeah.
Minus Fox and TSM, I guess.
Yeah. So...
They got Cloud9 in there, bro.
Yeah, I was about to say their next challenge.
And FlyQuest.
C9. And
I think Cloud9 and FlyQuest are the 2 teams, if I'm Liquid, I'm watching closely. Because they are the 2 teams who can knock me out of a bye. Or take my first place spot,
Yeah, I think Cloud9 has more potential of doing that than FlyQuest at this point.
Right.
But I get it.
Taking their first place. I mean, both of it... you haven't been watching NA, so you don't know this. So what it is, the first 6 get playoff spots.
Mm-hmm.
The top 2 get a first round bye. Mm-hmm. So, and that's the thing. So if you're 1 or 2, you still get the bye, and then first place gets to play whoever the lowest seed of the winning 2 teams are. Or actually, they get to pick, I think.
They get to pick,
yeah. It used to be
This is
lower
gonna be very
seed.
interesting for me, because I'll learn a lot of how
Yeah.
everything works.
So, I mean, you want to be number 1.
Oh, yeah.
But you definitely want to be 1 or 2, because then you play 1 less game in the playoffs. Yeah. It gives you more time to, prepare and scrim and all that sort of stuff. So, I think, if I'm Team Liquid, I'm watching those 2 teams, because they're both good enough to make that happen, and they're close enough still. Cloud9's only back to the 1 game, because they choked against CLG. And then FlyQuest, if they would have not... They dropped a game to CLG Echo Fox, and TL. They play Cloud9 next week, so they're
Fly plays C9.
yeah.
What's
So that's the
interesting?
thing. One of these
That'll be a
like
hard game to
they'll
choose.
either be tied with 3 losses apiece heading into the second half of the split,
Yeah.
which is day 2 that starts, or they'll be at 2 losses and 4 losses, which will give Liquid a little more breathing room
Yeah.
because 4 losses fine, but like if they're both at 3 losses, if I'm Liquid, those 2 wins alone can knock me down to even with them. If they just win out the second half of the split, like I guess one of them would have to win over the other one, but yeah.
It's a little weird that Team Liquid decided to pick the Yorick into TSM. It seems like it would have been a safer pick into Golden Guardians, just because of how much they outclass them.
Although, I would assume Riven like poops on them, but well, what was the pick order actually? Let's check that quick. Urgot was first pick for Golden Guardians, so Urgot would also poop on it because the ghouls. If it's an AoE, like you do a certain amount of damage, if it's anything that's a single target, whether it's an auto attack or a skill that's single target, it kills him in one shot. So Urgot would pop his Purge, the ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta, and it would kill all of them.
Shotgun knees?
No, not the shotgun knee, the one where he shoots faster. It's like 3 shots per second, and it automatically targets whatever's closest unless there's a champion in range, blah blah. So it would just automatically, because as the ghouls jump at you, they're closest, and so it would just automatically kill each of them. I mean, if he throws the max, which is 4 at you, it would take 1.3 seconds, and they're done. So yeah, that'd be a terrible matchup for Yorick.
Fair enough.
And Sion was a win. So Sion was, there's 2 champions I brought up last week. Sion, who was disgusting, and Ezreal. Both of them had 71% win rates. And Ezreal had not been banned at all. We saw Sion, he took in a couple nerfs here. There's a longer cooldown in his W early, his Q does less damage early, and that was enough to push him way down. He got a couple picks and 1 ban, and he did okay. I still think he's really the best option for people who are super tank players. I think Haunter and Darshan should definitely keep them high in their queues. Darshan more so.
Haunter banned Sion against Darshan, which was really smart.
Yep.
Because then Darshan does a dum-dum and picks Aatrox, which has been kind of nerfed, into an Urgot. And, I mean, it might not be that bad of a matchup in general, but Darshan was horribly behind. I think he was down 100 CS from Haunter, and he just got creamed that entire game. But they also did really good plays against Darshan, ganking his lane.
So I think if I'm Darshan, I still want Sion. Then again, if I'm playing against CLG, just throw a ban that way, that's fine.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Ban him against Darshan, and you might have a win against
So
CLG.
the other champion who had the 71 win percent was Ezreal, who had 0 bans all season, which was what the fuck. This week, he was picked twice, banned the other 8 games.
Really? I didn't pay attention to that.
He was banned 8 times, and he went 1-1.
I'm gonna put that down. 8 times.
Yeah. I was gonna say it's on the other sheet. I have it off on the side. It's one of the points.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah. He was banned 8 fucking times. He was picked once by Clutch into FlyQuest, and they lost, obviously. And he was picked once by FlyQuest into 100 Thieves, and won. I just love it. I was just like, how have you guys not banned him at all? Just throw a ban that way, and then the minute Sion isn't ban-worthy anymore, which they probably should have already been throwing more towards him, and they kept... Lucian was in the bans all week, Ezreal was in it too, and then, we saw Jace, Thresh, Nocturne, Sylas cropped in. Also, Yorick must have been going on in some scrims, because Yorick was banned in the first game of the week, oddly enough.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he was.
Cassiopeia still saw a lot of ban. So Cassiopeia, Lucian, Ezreal were the major bans of the week.
Yeah.
And then we also saw a fair amount. Oh no, and Yorick was banned by Cloud9 against OpTic. Yeah, both teams banned Yorick against OpTic actually. Mm-hmm. So that's not terribly surprising because one of the champions Dokla looked actually really good on late last season was Yorick. Yeah, that was the reason OpTic almost made playoffs was his Yorick really. But yeah, I think it's interesting that these crit changes happen, where all of a sudden crit marksmen are way better, like Civ or Caitlyn, Jinx, whatever, and now we're finally banning the Ezreal. Seriously?
Well,
now
they
that
need
there's
to
other
realize how
options
powerful it
and we
is.
can bust out this other
Yeah.
shit, like, in Grand, mostly we saw, like, Kaisa played, and we saw a lot of Sivir, too.
Yeah.
But it's just, like, now that, like, Sivir is better, you're gonna ban, and Ezreal's still really fucking good, but it's like, why are you guys not banning Ezreal when Sivir wasn't as good last week? Like, but yeah, now Lucian, Sivir, Kaisa, and Ezreal are the hot 4 marksmen, and we're gonna keep seeing that until the next patch, and there's adjustments.
It's mostly just Kaisa Sivir with a few ashes.
Yeah. And the one last thing I have is it was a fun thing Doublelift said on stream after this week's matches. It came up today on Reddit. People were commenting like how Doublelift, like he enjoys and indulges in the smack talk and be like, oh yeah, we're gonna take down this team, and then like when they lost to TSM, that people were like, oh Doublelift, like, and like so there was a big discussion in the post game thread for that game of like, you know, is it better that he says these things so that we can like, you know, poke fun or like, you know, laud him afterwards for them, or would it be better if he was just, you know, oh yeah, we're gonna try our best or whatever, and then he, you know, didn't have to ever eat his words. And like, so he said on stream, he's like, no, I like that you guys can have it, like, these discussions would not happen if I didn't say things. And he's like, I wish all these other players, he's like, I hate that all these other players are just like, well, we're gonna do our best and I'm gonna try what, he's like, have some fun with it, be less boring.
He said that other players need more personality.
Yeah, and I agree personally.
I don't disagree, but like when you have sponsorships and you have all this money that comes in based on, you know, streams and stuff like that, if you piss off too many people, like it's really, you don't want to like piss off like your sponsors and stuff like that.
Right, but at the same time, so you're saying like doing this kind of thing gives you personality, right?
Yeah.
So if you think about the teams who have the most personality, I mean, Doublelift on his own, basically.
Cloud9.
Cloud9.
It's Cloud9 and apparently Doublelift.
TSM to a fair point. Like, they've had less recently now that they have a Norwegian on there. He's not from Norway. Or, I don't think he's from Norway. I can't remember where Sven's from. But he's, you know, your quiet Scandinavian man. And, like some of these teams have less personality now. Echo Fox had tons of personality last split. Like, Golden Guardians kind of does now. Like, you're drawn to these teams that have personality. You want... As a sponsor, I want a team that's high profile and people enjoy. Like,
Yeah.
Cloud9 is, like, the major team for that right now, but other teams are definitely trying to do it, and some doing it to better and worse extents. But if you're like, hey, you should sponsor Clutch, not only do I go, well, they suck, but I go, who's their personality? Well, Huni. No, Huni's not good anymore. He doesn't say anything. Who on their team talks? Like, Piglet used to, Huni used to, but neither of them are any good, so they're both quiet all the time now.
I don't know. Huni got his Echo Fox flavored Range Rover last year, and now he can quietly just like. I bet that was a lease. It probably wasn't even bought.
No, I bet it was cash. There's no.
I'm sure it was cash.
He easily
as
has
well.
money. He just like cash, like fucking put a wad on the counter and just said that one, but paint it.
Yeah.
But
no.
yeah, I agree with Double. Like, you don't necessarily have to be like smack talking or whatever. You don't have to be like, you know, like the famous Doublelift quote is, "I'm everyone else is trash." Like, that's the famous quote. You don't have to be that, but like, have some fun and bravado. Like, shit. Like,
I think a lot of them do.
Not in interviews that like when.
But I like it when
Avali's,
they're
like, talking
humble.
to-
Yeah, well, when Avali's like, what do you think? And they're like, we did well. We have some plays that were good. There's some areas where we can improve, blah, blah, blah. And they're
That's it,
generally humble. I'm like, I like that kid. Doublelift comes on, and as much as I love him, it's like the same that I dislike him. He's a douche.
But like, you can even do both. Like, 'cause,
Everyone
like,
likes a good douche. It's okay.
Like, apparently.
That's why I have friends.
But like, Sneaky's quite humble, right?
Yes, I
But
like
he
Sneaky.
makes the cheeky comments all
Yeah.
over the fucking place.
I was gonna say, if you can get a blend of it, kind of like Sneaky, because he was
Yeah.
on my list to mention for that.
Like
is-
Licorice and Sneaky are both full of that, where they're like, oh yeah, and then they kind of like say something sly and grin about it. It's like, okay, like everybody should, you know, have that kind of mixture. I think.
I think one of my favorite personalities on Cloud9 is Zazel's beard. Like, not
Very
necessarily
weird
Zazel
personality.
himself, just like his beard. Like, does Zazel talk? Does he say things? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like he is just
He's
like
quiet.
he is
he's so young.
He's
too.
quietly there and just performs so well. But then his beard just is like, this part of his body is my favorite.
So Cloud9 releases a quick video every Monday that have a bunch of the comms from the previous week. And it's one of the pregame comms, and Sneaky says, he's like, Zazel's my favorite bearded person I know. and their coach Rupert's just like, how many bearded guys do you know, Sneaky? He's like, I know lots of bearded men. And Sneaky is and Zazel is my favorite. But like everyone's like all three of them right away, but like Rupert's the one who like thinks of it or like gets it out. They're like, wait, how many bearded guys do you know? Like she's like, you only know one.
That's funny.
But yeah, like I think those two are like honestly just in that bot lane they're super into. Like all their comms, there's always something fun. Did you see the licking the mouse one?
I did not.
Oh my! It's a pregame. Sneaky picked up Zazel's mouse, looks at Zazel, and just he like licks the bottom of it and he sets it back down. And Zazel goes, ref, so what would I do if, hypothetically speaking, somebody took my mouse and licked it? And the guy just goes, and he goes, not saying it happened, just what if? Like, I fucking love those guys, because Zazel's just so, like, quiet, like, but he's an amusing person, and then Sneaky's just a weirdo.
I like it. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, not every team can have the amount of personality that Cloud9 eschews, but you can have more than fucking
Was it
OpTic and Clutch.
Was it last week where Bang was like, I am Bang?
Yeah, I
like that. That's kind of like in the middle
that's
of the fight.
Bang. This is Bang.
This is Bang.
This is Bang. Like in game, like
Yeah.
he was shouting, "This is Bang," and then
Every
like
guy
Afromu has
so
personality.
Yeah, but I'm putting him up there with Double Lift. Like,
Right.
is it a person? I mean, is it a personality good? Is a personality good if you're just a douche personality? Like,
Yes.
like
I
the
think
douche.
so.
There's like-
Parks and Rec.
I think Contracts has personality. He's not a douche. He's just like a little weeb weirdo. He's weeb as
I
fuck.
don't know much about contracts.
He's super weeb. They don't win enough to get like a
Moo
lot of interviews
saved.
with them.
Moo,
Yeah.
I have something written down about Moo. What did he do? He saved Onda twice, I think.
About
Well, he's
time.
the support. He's supposed to do something.
Yeah, but Onda was being dumb, and it
Yeah.
made me mad. Yeah, Onda makes good choices the first game with pressure onto Santorin, but bad choices a few times in his second game versus Fox.
Yeah.
Moo saves him twice, I think. There's the one where it was real clutch right around the Dragon Pit, but
Real clutch. All right. Well,
I
think-
was proud of Moo in that instance.
I
And
think
not
that does it
much
for
of a fan.
everything I had down. Any last thoughts on week 4 or heading into week 5, guys?
Let's see.
I mean, for me, I think that FlyQuest Cloud9 game is going to be a great one to watch for.
Yes, I'm very excited about that.
And also, actually,
Well, can we
the first game of the
do our
second
favorite segment?
Big
Bubble wrap midget
Well,
fighting.
I think you're going to agree that it's obviously has to be the first game of the second half of the split. Then
What? Why? What is this? Tell me.
I don't know if it's the very first one of the week.
I don't know what this is.
Clutch and OpTic play. That's game 2 of week 5 for them.
Well, then, yeah, that's going to be bubble wrapped hot mess.
I mean, that is for, depending on how Clutch does against Golden Guardians and OpTic does against 100 Thieves, if they both win, both lose, whatever, that could very well be for sole possession of last place.
So what's this bubble wrap midget fight?
Oh, so, you have match of the weekend, great stuff. Once there was 2 teams, and they were so bad, and they just flailed at each other, and it was awful. This was like a week 2 or 3 that I coined... it's like watching 2 bubble-wrapped midgets wrestling. It's entertaining. It's fucking hilarious to watch. But there's no good sport going on here. And so the bubble-wrap midget wrestling match of the week is just, like, the worst game, or, like, the game between 2, like, terrible teams.
So it's gonna be
Clutch
OpTic.
OpTic.
It's going to be Clutch OpTic.
Is that next week?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how
Who
they...
the fuck's gonna win?
That's how they kick off their second half.
Maybe it'll end in a stalemate and they both get assigned losses.
And I mean, I think
That's on
that
Sunday.
the match to watch is definitely going to be FlyQuest Cloud9 on day 1.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's... I mean, you have 2nd versus 3rd, and then on day 2 it could very well still be 9th versus 9th.
True. I'm okay with that. That works for me.
Who's GG's play? Oh, so they're gonna win on day one? That's right.
She
Yes,
should
they
get her
are.
picks going.
But not on this. Well, because I'm really excited about this Fox statistic that they're saying.
Yeah, no,
that
if Fox
Rush
loses
doesn't
against
lose
Liquid...
on Sunday if he lost on Saturday.
Yeah, he doesn't go 0-2, basically.
Yeah, so, but they're up against TL. I don't
So
think
if
Fox
they
is going to win
lose,
that, so I have to
I
pick
really-
them against
And
GG.
more to that point, that has literally been all 4 of Echo Fox's weeks so far
Yeah,
this split. They have gone
exactly.
loss-win in that order all 4
I've got it
weeks.
right here.
Yeah.
I can weed.
But they were saying
It is
some
Denver.
weird,
It's like-
high statistic that Rush
Oh,
doesn't
yeah, no,
lose.
like, because they were saying if it was a coin flip, that this is like a 1 in 160,000
yeah,
chance or some bullshit.
60,
Like,
64, yeah, 64,000.
yeah, it was like
I
stupid
heard
high.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
So
I'm
I'm
gonna get
very
later.
excited about
Well,
that.
that's
So
the-
what happens if he wins day one, which is probably not going to
Then
happen?
he can win
against
or
TL.
lose on day 2.
Oh, so he can go either way? It's not like a
Yeah,
guaranteed loss?
he's
He's
literally never gone 0-2
Yeah.
in NA.
Oh, wow. That's a crazy statistic to,
Yeah.
to have, I
Granted,
guess.
he did have a lot of games in NA previously, but
Yeah.
still.
Oh, I think Golden Guardians have a good week ahead. I'm gonna give them another 2-0 week.
Against...
Ooh, give him 2-0 week. Oh, Clutch
No,
Fox.
I
Fuck,
don't
I wish I... I think every team in the league looks at it and goes, I wish I could have Clutch Fox. But every week they say that. I checked the schedule, actually. I was a little disappointed, because it would just be a hell of a week. I was looking, not a single team has to face Liquid and Cloud9 in the same week, because that would suck.
Yeah, that would be pretty bad.
But, alright, well, I think that wraps up everything we have here. We've got games to watch for. We already have his prediction, Golden Guardians 2-0, and watching closely to see that Fox
day
prediction
two,
probably come through on day 2
depends on
if they
one,
lose on day
yes,
1.
Yeah.
So that does it for us here at League of Loggers for Week 5, Episode 5, the Week 4, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Until
Three of
next
us.
time,
Cheers.
I don't remember
cheers.
the rest. Bye, guys.